Hello and good evening, everyone. My name is Tiffany Roman and I am your host. This is Small Biz Highlight. We are all about introducing you to small business owners and entrepreneurs doing their thing out there, helping you get to know them as human beings first, and then we'll talk about their business, what they offer, the services and products they have, and then we'll talk about how COVID has affected them. Today, I have a really cool guest lined up for you. But first, as always, got to give you the little announcements. We are live with StreamYard. So if you are catching us live, hello, welcome, thank you. If you happen to be on Facebook, I would love to feature your comments or questions that you may have during the broadcast live on camera on the screen so everybody can see it. However, to know who you are by your name and your Facebook profile picture, you'll need to give StreamYard and Facebook permission to speak to each other. So it's just as easy as going to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Super easy. I'll make sure it's in the comments for you, but it is in the description of the video just in case. All right. As always, I am promoting the hashtag 2020U. This year has been a journey personally for me to, really learn to accept myself more, love myself more, and have more faith in myself. And I have it. Put it out to the universe, to all of you that may be watching, to join in, whether it's using me selfishly as your accountability partner or just using a family member, a friend, what have you. Join me in this journey. You would not believe the small little things that come out of it that are just so rewarding. So I absolutely recommend it. All right. So I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor, Text for More, who makes it super easy for you to find out so much about Small Biz Highlight and access us simply by texting Small Biz to 717-670-6400 to gain access to our little digital brochure that they're so nice to offer us. Very exciting. And finally, there is an app for everything nowadays, and Small Biz Highlight is no different. Available on Google Play and Apple App Stores. Small Biz Highlight app is available for download. Access all our previous episodes and current. And we just recently announced and launched our Small Biz Highlight community, our own networking community within the app that has a ton of features coming soon. You have got to check it out. It's free to download, guys, so you might as well, All right, so that's enough about me and what we've got going on, because tonight is about our guest, who happens to be Naresh. And now I really hope I said that right, because I forgot to ask him. Please don't be mad at me. Let's bring him on. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Did I say your name right?
It's actually Naresh, but that's okay.
Naresh. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
perfect.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you for being understanding. I am notorious for forgetting to ask people before going live how to pronounce their names, and I just kind of wing it in the meantime. But I'm so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for, taking time out of your schedule to be here with me.
No problem. I'm really looking forward to the discussion.
Awesome. All right. So I always start the episode with one question, and it's probably my favorite question to ask because it's so interesting how people answer it so differently. Naresh, help my viewers get to know you a little bit better. Who are you?
I'm the founder of Kriss Media Marketing, an online and digital marketing agency. We do anything and everything online and digital related. I'm also a real estate investor and real estate investment coach. So I help other people invest. And I'm a stay-at-home dad to right now my 2-year-old and upcoming newborn.
Well, congratulations on that. That has to be so exciting.
It is. I'm pretty excited. Well, I'll say the first one's more exciting than the second one, but yeah, things are gonna get fun in the Vissa household.
And very busy. Very busy. I have 2 boys, and, oh, it's nonstop in this house at all times. This is, like, one of my moments of silence in the afternoon when I'm home simply because dad's pretty much taking care of them and keeping them away from me. Otherwise, if they were here, they'd probably be climbing on me like a jungle gym and being part of the show. It's happened.
Yeah, well, I think that's what it's gonna turn into in this house too, so we'll see.
Oh, it'll be so much fun. Well, like I said, congratulations. I hope all is well with the pregnancy and all goes well and beautiful baby is born and you just enjoy extra love in the house. Oh, all right. So, you mentioned you are the owner of Krish Media and Marketing. So, tell us a little bit more about your business. What is it that you guys do beyond just what your name says, media and marketing?
Yeah, we're like I said, a digital marketing agency at the end of the day. So our website is Krish Krish mediamarketing.com. That's krishmediamarketing.com. And we just offer a bunch of different online and digital services from design, web development, online public relations, podcast production, SEO and reputation management, online special events, copywriting, book publishing. I mean, we've been very busy over the past week working with a client, getting his book out there. So we do pretty much everything with the exception of mobile app development. And I started the
Hmm.
company in 2013. It's going strong. It's doing well and and going strong. So 9 years into business, still in business.
Wow. That's a huge accomplishment. So many small businesses struggle in the first year alone to survive as long as 9 years, almost 10 years. So congratulations on that. So, okay, what specifically are the types of services you provide? Or the most common ones, if you will.
Well, they're what I just said. Probably the book publishing, the podcast production, the web design, or just design in general, and web development. Um,
Huh. And
those are
so
probably the
if
top
we
3.
wanted to start working with you to get, you know, in the groove and take advantage of your expertise. What does that look like? Is there like a free call that they can sign up for to talk to you and strategize, I guess?
Yeah, so all they have to do is go to krishmediamarketing.com, and my contact info is right there. They can reach out to me, and yeah, I offer free, if you want to call them, discovery calls, free initial consultations. Definitely that's available. But I also want to plug one of my books. I'm an author as well. I wrote a book called
Oh, that's
50 Shades of
exciting. Yes,
Marketing.
please.
Yeah, I wrote a book called 50 Shades of Marketing: Whip Your Business into
I
Shape and
love it.
Dominate Your Competition. And that book is available on Amazon. If your listeners, viewers want to get a free copy of that book, I'd be glad to send them a copy if they email me through krishmediamarketing.com.
Oh, wow. All right. That's amazing. Guys, did you hear that? I'm just kidding. I'll make sure I reiterate that in the comments of the video so that you guys, don't miss out on that opportunity because I'm sure it's a great read. Tell us a little bit more about your book. I know you said it's called 50 Shades of Marketing. Is it just breaking it down more in depth to kind of help people understand it more?
It's a primer on online and digital marketing. So it's anything and everything online and digital related. It talks about things as simple as, why you need a website, to how to run successful SEO campaigns. So it goes into the nitty gritty. It's like a 300-page book that goes into the nitty gritty of online and digital marketing.
Mm. Wow. All right, I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out for sure because I for one am still trying to wrap my head around SEO and all that jazz. Thankfully, I've had some help through through the years and whatnot, but it's always good to try and educate yourself a lot more on certain things, as you grow as a business and whatnot. So definitely will have to check it out. Now you've been in business for 9 years. Like I said, that's a huge accomplishment for a small business. What what did your world look like when the shutdowns started happening?
My world didn't really change all that much. I've been working from home. So one thing I should mention is I'm also the host of the work from home show. Website is workfromhomeshow.com. And
Hmm.
I've been working from home since I started the business in 2013. I was working at a company before that in an office, but I've been at home remote since that was what, February 2013, yeah, it was February 2013. So when the whole work from home or the pandemic happened, the lockdowns, nothing really changed from me from a business perspective.
Okay.
From a personal perspective, there was a lot of change personally, socially, but from a business perspective, not a whole lot changed. It was just business as usual, same old, same old. And
Hmm.
when you work from home for so long, and when you're a writer like me, also, I have 5 books out. You welcome something like this. It's like, "Oh, okay, lockdown, great. Let's just lock down at home and keep writing and keep working." So,
I'm sure it's a lot different though to be locked down at home and then the family home the whole time, versus, having the house to yourself at some moments, right?
well, for me, it was a little different because my son was just born 5 weeks before the
Ooh,
pandemic. So
okay.
already that was a bigger adjustment than a lockdown. We were already locked down. So the pandemic didn't really disrupt anything. And now if I had older children who were like 5 and
Mm,
7 or 10, basically above the age of like 3, school age, then yes, it would have affected my day to day, my routine and all that. But my son was only a few weeks old. Pandemic hit and we barely even noticed it because when he was
he slept
born, it's
all
like,
day.
yeah, new baby
Woke
in the
up to
house,
eat
we're locked
and
down,
then
we don't
went
wanna
back to
take him
sleep.
anywhere, we don't want him to get sick, and, we don't wanna take him to crowded places, so yeah, it didn't really change much, at all, really.
Yeah, some people feel really awkward or uncomfortable when I ask the question about how the pandemic affected them and they don't really have a negative story to tell. And I think it's just as important to hear stories like yours where you may not have been affected or maybe it helped boost your business or whatever, because not all stories are negative as a result of the shutdowns. And, I feel like the media kind of really focused on just the negative aspect of it versus, really
Well, there was
emphasizing
a
that,
lot of negative.
there were good things that came out of it business-wise.
There was a lot of negative. I'm not
Yeah,
completely ignorant of the negative.
absolutely.
I just didn't necessarily feel the negative. Now, my wife is a physician who was working in, basically on the team that saw the pandemic patients. So I would hear stuff about, what was going on in the hospital, the politics of the hospital. I mean, the politics you just can't get rid of because that's what's driving the decisions. Even in healthcare, even in the hospitals, it's not about what's best for the patient. It's politics. That's what's driving the decision. So I was
Mm,
kept up to date on all of that, but again, me from a business perspective, we were digital since 2013. Krish Media and Marketing. I've been digital, kind of like that laptop entrepreneur, and there wasn't much change in my day to day. People ask me all the time. I come on shows like this, and they're like, "Oh, did you get more business or did you lose business?" And my answer is it was pretty much the same.
oh, well,
Uh,
that's good. That's very fortunate for you, you know? Um, yeah, some
it's
people were
been
not
pretty
as
much the same.
lucky,
On
and
on a dollar
absolutely am
basis,
aware of that, but, for those that had that opportunity to, be able to say that, their business was good to go. They were very fortunate, so I'm very glad to hear that that was the case for you. Being a stay-at-home dad since basically working from home since 2013, what advice would you have for someone who's looking to get into that lifestyle? Like, get to that point where they are just working from home and no longer needing, because that it definitely feel like that's something that's been more popular since the pandemic shutdowns happened, that people are looking for ways to stay home working since obviously we proved that the world could keep turning with all of us working from home.
I really like this topic a lot on my podcast, a work from home show. We've done a few episodes on this because my co host is also a stay at home dad who does very well working from home. So, first off, this is not something that I planned out. When I was, in 2013, I didn't say, oh, I want to start working from home and figure out ways to make money so that one day I can become a stay at home dad. That was never the plan, per se. Now, it just
Mm.
made sense after we got married. It made sense. Hey, if we have children, I'm already at home, so I can take care of the kids. It's not a problem. And so that's
Wow.
actually the first year of the pandemic when my son was born. I didn't do that. I actually didn't do really anything uh, stay at home fatherly duties because we had grandparents or in-laws, whatever you want to call them.
Yes.
Now that didn't necessarily work out well at all. Um, and so after the kid turned 1, that's when daddy stepped up and said, "It's time to be a real stay-at-home dad." So for the past year and a half, that's what it's been. And initially, it was daunting because to anybody, it's daunting to have a kid, even one
Oh,
kid. If you've never
absolutely.
had a kid, it's like, whoa, that's looks like a lot of work. It looks like a lot of responsibility. It looks like your life is, your previous life is over, which is all true. Um, but but with that being said, it really was not as difficult as I thought it would be. And I had the support of a few other men who were like, "Oh, I stayed at home too. Like I got an IT job or a tech job and I worked at home and helped raise my child and my wife would go away to work and whatever." And it was not a problem at
Oh,
all. And I quickly learned that this really it's not very difficult, especially when a kid is that young. There's
okay.
certain things that you have to do to keep them happy, which aren't it's just not that difficult. And they take long naps and they sleep earlier than adults do, and they do wake up a little they can wake up a little early, but the key is that you have to form good habits for yourself and for your children. And that's something that we did not do because he was spoiled with his grandparents. And getting somebody out of those bad habits, whether it's an adult or a child, it takes a very long time. If you said today, hey, I want to give up X, right? Like I want to give up alcohol. It's not an overnight thing. If you say, I want to go vegan, it's not you're not just going to wake up tomorrow and go vegan. It's a
Right.
long process. And it's the same thing with a tiny little 1-year-old. It took about 6 months to implement some good modern day habits that made everyone's lives easier, including the kids' life. So that's key because I'll give you a glimpse of my day to day. I wake up when my kid wakes up, and we basically start the day together, get ready together almost, and he eats his breakfast, I eat my breakfast, and he eats longer than I do, so he keeps eating while I get on my computer and start getting to work. And then when he's done eating, he comes down from his high chair and he's just running around playing with his toys for about 2 hours straight.
Oh,
He doesn't bother me. He won't even talk or scream or yell or anything. He just kind of talks to himself and does his own thing, and I'm in front of my computer doing my thing. I'll even have meetings. I'll even do interviews like this, and he'll just be running around in the background. You won't even hear him.
sorry, but that's gonna change soon.
Well, that's why he's going off to school next week.
No, no. I mean, it once they start talking, especially when the second little one is here and they
I know.
start growing together, oh, it's
I know
gonna
that
get to
very
the
well,
point
and
where
and that's why
there they'll be silent right in the room with you because you're not doing anything. And the moment you pick up the phone, that's when they have like 20 questions they have to ask you. It
yeah.
happens every time. It never fails. It's great.
We'll see. Well,
But
that's why he's going off to school next week, like I said. So we get about 2 weeks off uh, alone while he's in school, and then the next kid comes.
Oh, there you go. See? That's smart. I like that. All right. Well, I'm going to take a quick break to play a quick commercial. But when I come back, I want to just touch really quick on the stigma of the fact that, dad staying home versus mom staying home, how that's not, that's still looked upon as, not normal or whatever, and how actually it is a
My
really
favorite
great
topic.
thing.
My favorite topic.
Good. So give me 1 second, everybody. We will be right back.
Are you tired of missed business opportunities because you don't have the marketing tools that big companies do? Do you want to generate more sales with less effort or technical knowledge? Text for More is a digital marketing solution that is both your digital brochure and web presence that connects you directly to your customers. Best of all, Text for More is proven to deliver results. In fact, some of our clients have seen their monthly revenue increase by as much as 5 times in the first couple of months. To get started today, text the keyword MORE to 317-342-8114 and see how we can assist you. Text for More. Next generation brochures for the digital age.
All right, we're back. If you are just joining us, we have been chatting with Naresh, a stay-at-home dad, a work-from-home entrepreneur, running his own business, living the dream life, of course, based on what I want to be doing. Because one day I will be a stay-at-home mom. There, I'm almost there. Like we mentioned before, it's kind of a transition process or whatever. I'm working towards it. It's a goal. But Naresh, I heard you talk about, how much you love being a stay-at-home dad and, how it just made more sense for you to stay home, come to shove. You had the job that could be able to do that kind of jazz. How do you respond to people or the, negative aspect of the idea that you're staying home versus mom staying home?
Well, I embrace it. I don't really see the point of having children if you're never going to see them, right? Like that, if you're just going to send them off to daycare and school, then what's the point? So right now, I'm cherishing every moment. It's a wonderful journey, and even as they go off to school, get older, I'm going to be a very active father, if you want to put it that way.
Yes.
I'm going to coach their sports teams. I'm going to teach them all different types of stuff. What I do is maybe some tech stuff, some marketing stuff, definitely business stuff, because at some point someone's going to have to take over the business, right? So we're going to have those conversations, those discussions, and I think it's basically a new phase of life that I embrace. Staying at home, look, changing diapers and all that, that's just for the first 3 years, really, of the child's life. After that, it's, being a real parent. So do I change diapers? Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with it. I never knew how to change a diaper before, was terrified of diapers before and everything associated with it. But hey, it's really not that bad. And as far as like you brought up a stigma goes, right?
Yes.
First off, if I didn't have my work, I wouldn't be able to get through this, because being a stay at home it can get really, really boring if you're
Mm.
stuck with a 1-year-old all day. I mean, what are they going to do, especially when they can't even walk? What are you going to do, right?
Right.
And it's not like they're going to let you turn on your TV show and watch your TV show in peace, so that's not an option either. So so to me, it's like I love my work because I get to spend time with my kids, and they, my son sees me working, and he knows that,
Right.
I got him his own little fake laptop, and he'll try to act like he's typing and stuff. And they see me, they hear me on meetings. Uh so that's all beneficial for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Learning the business lingo, hearing dad talk, and just the general manners and mores of industry. It's big. It's almost like they're like my shadow, my intern. just hearing me and watching me. So what I'm trying to say here is if you're going to be stay at home with like no job, more no income, that can cause a lot of problems. But if you
Mm.
can figure out a way to make money from home, even if it's just say $2,000 a month, that will pay for all of your expenses and whatever toys you want to buy yourself and your child, soccer practice or swimming lessons or
Right.
whatever. That's more than enough, and we try to teach people at the work from home show how to make money from home, whether you're a parent, whether you're single. I mean, I used to be a single guy living alone in my condo, my beachfront condo. So just really, really, I recommend it. It'll be better for your marriage, better for your relationship, better for your relationship with your children, if you can find ways to be productive at home. Because I hate to break it to those who might disagree with me, but I hear all the time, "Oh, stay at home is a full-time job and it's really hard and this and that." It's really not. And by the way, I grew up with my mom was stay at home for what, my first 15 years or so.
Oh,
So
wow.
so I would hear all the time, "Oh yeah, being stay at home is so difficult and this and that." Whereas I think it's kind of the opposite. I think it's like, man, I need some work to do. I need something to do. Otherwise, I'm gonna go crazy with these little kids.
It's absolutely not for everybody. Some people think that they would really enjoy it, and then they just really it's just not cut out for them, and they end up going back to work. So I can absolutely agree with that. Yep.
It's not, and even before I had the kids, even long before, when I was working from home, there would be months when I didn't where the business was not going well, and it was like, "What do I do with my life?" Like, I'm stuck in this room by myself, like, what do I do? And that's when I started working out more, going to the gym, playing sports, writing, and doing other things, watching movies and reading books and doing all sorts of things. You have to find ways to fill your time, whether you have the kids or not. And what I'm finding is even with the kid, and it's going to be children, maybe once I have the second one, then my hands are going to be full and I may not be able to work as much or as diligently as I am right now. I mean, right now I'm able to get so much done at work. It's almost like I want more work. When I see my schedule and I have zero client meetings, I'm like, man, what am I going to do today? Like, what do I do, for the next 4 hours until my kids' nap time?
Yeah. Well, I absolutely agree that it's absolutely important for the kids to see you, no matter how small they are, whether they understand what you're doing or not. They mimic you, and that gets ingrained in their brain. And as they grow, they want to learn more from that. What is it that daddy actually does? What is he doing? What does he say? They take that all into account and are, downloading, or if you will, just what they should be doing based off what they see you doing. And that's so important.
It absolutely is.
So
And
it's a really great thing that you're doing for your kids.
I think a lot of kids just have no idea what their parents do, what they do when they go off to work. I was one of those people. My dad worked. I had no idea what he did until I was about 21 years old. All I knew was that he would leave early in the morning and go to an office. That's all I knew.
Wow. I was not that fortunate. My parents were both in the medical field. My mom was a nurse. My dad was an EMT and a dialysis technician. So I would be told stories of their day, what madness ensued. um, so I was very aware, and I actually do make sure that the kids are aware of what I'm doing too, even with the show, making it a point. Hey guys, I gotta go talk. I call it talk to people, but slowly I've started calling it interview, and they understand that that's what I mean, that I'm going to go talk to people on the computer, and they recognize it, they understand what it means, what I'm doing, to the point where they are trying to convince me to start their own show. They're hilarious. But um you know it's really important for them to see that, despite mommy not being able to work full time like daddy does, I'm still doing something, still contributing, still being a part of their lives while also doing this show. And it gives
So
me
you
a
bring up
little
a
bit
really
of, pride to show that, they're proud of me too. They like watching the shows with me. They like commenting and telling me how I look before I go live. It's really fun.
You bring up a really, really good point, which I think is important. And that is, you may not think that your children are paying attention. And look, I only have a 2-year old, right? Like, what do I know about parenting? But I just know this because I used to be a child and I know how children think. And I have friends who are children too. So the, your children are going to view you a certain way. And And so do you want to be known as that person who was like the stay at home, watching TV, soap operas all day, and who just would never leave the house? How do you think they're going to grow up and view you and respect you? And I have a family member who she kind of changed my viewpoint because she's the one who got me thinking about this. And she said, I don't want my children to know me as that mom who she had a job, who just would go to the office or whatever, or work from home, and then come home and then just yell at them all day or all night
Mhm.
and then put them to sleep, give them dinner and put them to
Right.
sleep. And so she started weightlifting. She said, I'm going to take up this hobby. I'm really interested in this hobby and I'm going to start going to the gym, working out, lose weight and weightlifting and bodybuilding. I mean, I don't know if it's but it's weightlifting. And she said, she said, I want my children to view me as something different than just another, parent who goes to work and comes home and gives you dinner and goes to sleep. So that got me thinking. I was like, wow, that's actually really, really interesting because those kids and their young kids are going to have a completely different
Mhm.
perspective and it's going to rub off on both of them. I guarantee you, if she keeps it up, which I think she will, that's going to rub off on the children because they're going to be, once they get old enough, they're going to be like, I want to weight lift too. And I want to take physical fitness and exercise seriously too. And a lot of parents just don't think about that. It's always about them. Oh, I just need to go to work and come back and make it through this day. And they don't think about how, just how they talk, how they walk, how they act, what their schedule is like, what their hobbies are. Your children may not be around, but they're paying attention.
They are every single moment of the day. I tell you. It's so crazy how they'll like mimic your reactions to things, the things you say about it's just they're sponges when they're that young, and it's so important to, take advantage of that time to instill whatever, you know, uh things you really want to make sure that are important to them as they grow older, grow into it, chores, all that jazz, because then that helps them, already be used to it versus trying to instill it in them once they're grown up and then they are just not into it.
Well, it makes a
So, yeah,
critical difference. It makes an absolute critical difference.
it does.
And if you just take a few examples, right? You look at somebody like a Tiger Woods, who greatest golfer in our lifetimes, and if you follow his story, if he had a different dad or if his dad just wasn't into golf, Tiger Woods would have never been
Right.
introduced to the game of golf. That right there is an example about the power of a parent, the influence that a parent can have on a child. So what you do absolutely matters. And there's so many examples like this. People I know who are dancers and athletes, and you go
Mhm.
back and you're like, oh, how did you get into dancing? Oh, my mom put me in a dance class when I was
My
like 4 years
mom or
old or
dad,
5 years
yes.
old. It makes a
Yeah.
tremendous people who play instruments. Oh, how did you start playing the drums? Oh, one of my parents put me in drum classes when I was, X years old. It makes an absolute critical difference.
Does.
Because as a child, there is nobody who you're spending more time with than your parent. Whether the parent spend time with you or not, as a child, the child is always, at least up until the age of 10 or so, they're going to look up to their parent to show them the world. They're going to be
Mhm.
dependent without even knowing it. They are dependent on their parent to take them to the drum class, to take them to baseball practice, to
Yes.
even turn on the TV and watch something educational or whatever it might be. So it might seem really, really small to some people. Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter who my parents are. I'm myself. I'm my own person. Blah blah. Yeah, maybe after 10, you can become your own person, but you have to understand that your children are innocent beings, and everything they know is completely based on what their parents or their caretaker shows them and what the opportunities that the parent gives them during the first, I'd say, 10 years or so of life.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Well, I'll tell you what, Naresh, this has been such a great conversation. I loved getting to know more about your business, but the added benefit of really diving into, your life as a single dad, but also an entrepreneur working from home. I feel like that's just such a hot topic nowadays because people are just so interested in it. So it was really great getting to hear that side of your story. So thank you for sharing it.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you. All right. So, with that, everyone, I will leave you with your friendly reminders to like, follow, share Small Biz Highlight. No matter where you're looking for us, just search Small Biz Highlight. We will pop up. We're there. I promise you. Um, check out this episode as a podcast episode coming shortly. Um, it will be uploaded shortly. You got to give me a second there. Other than that, thank you everyone. Have a great night, and I will see you next week for another episode of Small Biz Highlight where I introduce you to another great small business. All right, everybody. I will leave you friendly reminder. Ready? Support your community by putting it first, by shopping small and supporting local. Good night.